Okay, we're going to get started in a very few seconds here. Just trying to get people settled in. City Attorney, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Right. City Manager, you ready?
Yes, sir.
City Clerk on the phone, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Hill, are
Yes,
you ready?
sir.
Commissioner Mervin?
Yes.
I call this workshop a Tuesday, February the 27th, 2018 at 6 p.m. to order. May we please stand for the invocation led by Commissioner Mervin, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Father God, in the name of Jesus, God, we come before you again, God. Oh, God, on behalf of our city. Father God, we ask you, God, for direction, oh, God. We ask you, oh, God, just direct us in the right way to go, God. Give us respect, God, for each other, oh, God, as we discuss city business. Knowing, God, that we're not going to always agree, God, but we can't agree to disagree. Father God, we ask you, God, bless each commissioner, the mayor, the city manager, the city staff, and all of our residents, oh, God. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, roll call.
Mayor Babb,
Present.
Vice Mayor Holmes, Commissioner Hill,
Present.
Commissioner Mervin,
Present.
Commissioner Walker,
She's present.
City Manager,
Here.
City Attorney,
Present.
Deputy Friedman, City Clerk present.
Thank you, City Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. And thank each of you all for being here today to take part in our workshop of Tuesday, February the 27th, 2018. We have something new this afternoon. Our City Clerk is on the phone. I think this is the first time that I'm aware that we've had a remote clerk. So hopefully this will go smoothly. We'll see how it works. Vice Mayor Holmes would not be here this afternoon. His knee is acting up and he may have to have some surgery on it. So he did inform me earlier that he wouldn't be attending the workshop or the regular commission meeting. I think we have a pretty short agenda. I don't think we'll be here very long. We're going to take care of business and get you out of here really soon. I'm going to turn this portion over to our city manager to lead us in the discussion of our agenda for today.
Thank you, Mayor. Commission, welcome, citizens of Pahokee and friends and visitors. Have a short agenda tonight, so maybe it's a good thing that the clerk's on the phone. It's the first time I've seen the clerk on the phone, but we'll get through it tonight. We have two resolutions. Resolution 2018-11. This is a resolution that is describing some of our decaying and decrepit buildings. We have an ordinance here in the city of Pahokee that it gets to a point in the process where those buildings have become a safety to the community, and the owners have an opportunity to correct those issues. And when they do not correct those issues, the city has an ordinance that prescribes that they can move forward with a demolition process. And most of these buildings are blighted buildings. We don't foresee any occupancy in these buildings because they're beyond repair, but they are a danger to the community. So that's 2018-11. 2018-12 is a resolution concerning Florida Department of Transportation. That's our Barfield Highway project that's coming on board. That's a $4.6 million project that's going to completely reconstruct Barfield Highway in the coming months here, probably more so like midsummer, when they'll complete most of their studies and engineering processes for that street. So that's 2018-12, Mayor, and that is the agenda, barring any additional add-ons tonight.
Okay.
If it pleases the commission, I'll give a brief report from the city manager's desk at this time.
Thank you.
The old hospital, we are continuing the discussions with that buyer. There are some dates that we've set in motion that we need to receive some things from that buyer. Once those things are achieved, we'll come back at the next commission meeting and move forward with the complete sale, hopefully at that time, if everything is in its correct order as it pertains to the documents and the down payment and thereafter. Old water plant, moving kind of slowly there, but they're currently right now removing all of the acid and all of the dangerous water that was remaining in the flash pan back there. There's a lot more chemicals that they had to remove first before they could demo the building. And so that's what they're doing this week and probably maybe through the end of this week. And we'll get to demolition fairly shortly. But there were some chemicals once they got inside the structure itself that they didn't know was within the pipes that they had to get out of there. And so we want to make sure all that's cleared out and don't want to waste on any of that onto the foundation of the current location where it stands now. So be patient with that demolition. We knew there was going to be a process once they got on site. It is a water plant, and they have to be careful on how they're demolishing the structure to ensure that when it's done correctly and by EPA standards. Old Pahokee High School, we talked about this briefly. This is a surtax project. I've gotten a couple of quotes on the painting. We've gotten some building inspections on the internal foundation of this particular building, and there's some additional inspections that have to be done by our inspector. He wants to bring some additional folks in to take a look at some other foundation issues that may have to be corrected. But as of right now, what we're planning to do is, of course, paint the building, pressure wash it, paint the building, make it look attractable, redo the landscaping. But there are some things that one of the painters, one of the quotes that came in, one of the agencies indicated, one of the vendors indicated he wanted to ensure that there was no leaking occurring on the roof, because when you paint and they're still leaking, it'll somehow affect even the external parts of the building. So we want to do our due diligence before we put a lot of money into the paint and we don't have the roof fixed, or there's some internal things that are happening that may affect the external. And I know that sounds a little weird, but we want to do this the right way when we start getting into this particular structure and repairing it with our surtax dollars. Mayor, if it's a personal privilege, I think I was going to wait. I know we have a short agenda, but I wanted to do the employee of the quarter. We could wait and do that at the regular commission meeting. I think we have a short agenda enough that we could wait.
Yeah, we can wait. I think it's more appropriate to do it at a regular commission meeting and give it more prestige.
Okay. Are there any additional questions on the resolutions or the city manager's report, Mayor, Commission?
Yeah, I have one question on the resolution. In here it talks about the demolition of the property. We're planning on putting a lien on the property, so if they actually end up trying to sell the land, that we kind of recoup our money back.
Yes, sir. That's part of the ordinance. Yes, sir. There's a lien placed on the property if it's at cost to the city. Yes, and that's the process.
Okay. Have any other city done this before? And I'm wondering what the percentage of owners that would try to sue. I think it'd be a benefit for them, especially if the building is not rehabable, to allow the city to go ahead and assist in tearing it down. But you got some business owners that just would be reluctant to do that. I'm just wondering if these type of ordinance trigger lawsuits sometimes.
Well, we did our due diligence through code enforcement, contacting the owners, indicating what the process was. Some of these structures, some are in agreement, others didn't respond. Most of them don't live here in the city of Pahokee, let alone the state of Florida. Some are just out of touch with their properties here. But the city attorney, researched this list intently, and we were comfortable with the addresses that we have, that we could move forward without minimal any type of litigation involved at a later date.
But this won't be restricted to just the address we currently are listing.
No, it's an ongoing process.
Okay,
yes,
great.
yes. It's just these particular addresses are at that stage now where we have to do something, and we're at that fail-safe period where the ordinance that we have on the books is the last line of defense in ensuring that we address blighted buildings and things and building structures that are dangerous to the community.
Okay, great.
Mr. Mayor, the owners are also given an opportunity to appear in front of the special magistrate and argue that their building is repairable and fixable and they don't want it knocked down. So we're giving them every possible type of due process that we can think of to make sure that we're pretty safe on this.
Okay.
Any additional questions, Commissioner?
In the old William building, the cafe, should be kind of pretty up top of the list. I would hope.
That's a challenge. If you can recall, about a year and a half ago, when Miss Williams was found another location, we went to Miss Williams and the family, and we requested that they, at that time, deed the property to the city because we were going through the county to get some funding for demolition. And the only way that an address can qualify under the city is that we have to own it. So we wanted to temporarily take control of the property so we could put it on the list to receive demolition dollars. They didn't want to do that, even though after we pleaded with them that this would be a benefit for them and they could certainly have the property. We didn't want it. Ms. Williams subsequently, died. And so that put the whole property into probate. And so moving forward, we decided to put this property on the list because it is at that point where it is an issue to the community. But there are some other things that are involved with this property as probate is concerned, so we have to be very careful there legally. But we're coming back to that property fairly soon, and we're hoping that the family will somehow resolve some of the probate issues so we can demo the building. But it may come to a point, City Attorney, where yes, that'll be probably be on the next list, the way we're thinking, because we are 2 years into that property, and we all know that it needs to be demolished.
Okay.
So it's just unfortunate that it occurred like that, but we're going to continue working to get that building down. 171 Booker, which is across the street, that was a demo property that the owner did decide to release, not to the city now, but he signed off on the demolition because that was county funds. They will be demolishing that probably after March. He has to go to the county commission for final approval. And then after that is demolished, that owner will be deeding that to the city. He did decide to do that. It's owned by a church, and so he's going to deed that to the city.
Let me ask something. Are we, even when they are in agreement to have it demolished, are we still attempting to recoup monies that was spent?
Well, that building is not being, those funds are being expended by the county.
Okay.
They're not city dollars. So again, that was a structure that we had the money issued to the city at that time, and that owner decided that he wanted to participate in the county program with those funds. So that's not city dollars. But yes, we will make all effort with the other addresses to recoup any money that we expend through a lien process. So yeah, and that's the fail safe that we have as the city attorney issued. We gave them every opportunity to come to the judge and explain what their resolutions are on their properties, or even come to the city and work with the city, and we just have not gotten those responses. And if the buildings that we're looking at, they need to be demolished. They're past their time in life that they should be standing.
And I would think also through negotiation, we could, if they say agree to rebuild within a year, replace that structure with another business or another property, that some of that cost of demolition, it could be waived or forgiven. You want to try to get some incentive, because what we're doing is, and you need to tear it down because of an eyesore, but one of the biggest complaints of a layperson in the community is nothing has been built back up. You tore it down. We don't own it. We can only encourage that, and that will give them some incentive.
One major incentive about demolishing some of these properties, they're in a certain core of the city, around the city, that projects illegal activity. PVSO is on board with some of these structures being demolished. So while we're taking a building away, we're also deleting out some type of behaviors that have prevented us from having a safe community as well. So we have to keep that in mind. But you're correct. You know, we're going to try to work with these owners once those structures come down for the lien process, because they're going to, once those liens are applied, they're going to want to have a negotiation, discussion with the city on how to reduce that lien and get it off the books. And so we anticipate that, and so we'll be prepared.
Okay.
Yep.
That's the conclusion of your report.
Yes, sir.
City Attorney, you have any preliminary information you want to share at this time?
Yes. The City of Pahokee and the Supervisor of Elections have been sued by Ms. Sarah Perez regarding her eligibility to be on the ballot. There's a hearing on that coming up on Thursday. Unless directed otherwise by this commission, I plan to support the position taken by the Supervisor of Election on this matter.
Great.
Do we have valid reason for suit?
We're being sued.
I'm asking you.
I think we have valid reason to
That's for you to
defend
sign.
this suit because it has been
And notarized.
determined that the person who was seeking to run for office didn't actually live at that residence. It was a commercial
Okay.
building, so I think we got good grounds to help defend the case.
Okay,
Okay.
that's fine. They're fine. She's fine. He's suing her.
No, she's suing the Supervisor of Election Office and the city.
Oh, okay.
Right. So we're just defending it.
Okay.
City Attorney, on the Miller Group, did they actually give us the authorization to proceed with the commercial bid?
They did not sign the release I asked them for. However, we can proceed forward with the bid and see who bids on it and do everything except award the bid while that time frame is running out. And the reason they gave was that they were in some type of situation down south where they thought it might give them some leverage with the governor to possibly still approve the old deal that they had done with the city. So what we'll do is we'll just go ahead with the advertisement, which is already out there, receive all the bids, go through the bids, select the person or persons that are the best bidder, have those contracts drawn up, have the whole thing sent up to the state for approval, which we'll have to go to the governor and cabinet on. And by that time frame will have expired anyways.
Okay. In the deadline for submitting a competitive bid is March 5th, is it?
March
Coming
5th.
up pretty
March
soon.
Pre-bid is tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
Pre-bid of the facility is tomorrow, and then March 5th is the deadline, which is Monday. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, PBSO, you have any preliminary information you'd like to share in the workshop? Any news on crime prevention?
No, sir.
anything? Okay, thank you, sir. All right. Commissioners, give you an opportunity to ask questions or make comments during this time. We'll start with Commissioner Murray.
None at this time, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Walker,
Oh,
No questions at this
Commissioner
moment.
Hill, okay. All right, so I guess I'll just briefly go in my report. We do have an election, as everyone know, on March 13. We have one seat actually being opposed. That's the vice mayor seat. His opponent is Pastor Everett. It was initially two contestants. Commissioner Hill opponent was disqualified, so it will only be one person that will be, one seat will be eligible for voting on. I believe that Perez and Hill would still be on the ballot, but as we have been informed, that particular ballot, the votes in it won't count. She's already declared unopposed, according to the supervisor of election office. I just want to thank citizens for your cooperation in helping us to run a smooth meeting. I know we have some bumps along the way. We're going to just begin to continue to enforce Robert Rules of Order. I know it's a desire for residents to interact with the commission, and we encourage that. I certainly encourage that, but we have times when we are allowed to do that. I was just looking at the news just the other night in Revere Beach. They actually arrested a resident for being disorderly at a commission meeting. And really viewing the tape, I didn't see that level of arrest to occur. I did see a need to remove and ask that resident to leave the commission chamber with the escort of the sheriff. But they actually arrested him, and he's actually taking that up to the Supreme Court. So I'm just bringing that up when residents do get out of line. I know you have your right to express yourself, but it has to be in an orderly manner. I have to do a better job in kind of controlling that and just saying, ma'am or sir, you're out of order, even in raising the voice or personal attacks. I want to have people express themselves, but there's a way to do it. And I'm hoping that not only this commission, but residents kind of buy into that so we can have smooth meetings. Some of the things I've heard in the past is some people don't like coming to the meeting because they think that we always disagree, and there's nothing wrong with being disagreeable. It's just in the manner, the way we do it. So we're going to work on that in this new year. That I'll be going into my third year, and I think you'll see a lot more better improvement in that area. But everyone needs to pitch in and help in that area. Even commissioners, you must or should be recognized by the chair before speaking. I know there's a small group and you have a tendency to just go in there with your comments, but just kind of forewarning of just for bringing that to the point that that's my goal going into this new year, that we can run a very smooth meeting because we are being recorded, we are being looked at, and we want to be a presentable commission, not only to our residents, but to anyone who review those tapes in the future. And just secondly, just want our residents to bear with us on our rebuilding or rebranding of Pahokee. As you're aware that over the last 18 months, the city have received approximately $11 to $12 million from the state legislature to improve our infrastructure. You see signs on the marina, you see signs at East Lake Village and other places, and you're wondering when those activities are going to start, and they're very near starting. I think our city manager has given us a good time frame. He have indicated that this process normally, on average, takes a year from being awarded the money to actually getting off the ground because of engineering, designs, advertisement. There's a lot involved in it, but the money's not sitting there. The city's not holding it. We're trying to expedite everything we do. So I believe in this next 12 months, you'll really begin to see a new Pahokee and a new direction the way we're going to be going. And lastly, two of the biggest concern is bringing in businesses in our community and affordable housing. The city manager this year has indicated that's one of his number one priority is to bring in affordable housing. And we've been talking with the county and other entities that are interested in building affordable houses in Pahokee. And secondly, is to bring in business. And I'm gonna be honest with you, we don't sleep up here too often because of the lack of business, and we know that's a concern for our community. But to be honest, and it's not an excuse for us, we're competing against every city in the state of Florida. Not only that, every city in the nation, to be honest. When you look at bringing business in, most other cities, a lot of them anyway, have incentives that they could give business. They're paying millions of dollars in incentives to attract business in here. So what I'm saying, just prepare yourself when we do get business that we support our local business. You know, they're gonna look at the school. They look at a lot of things. They look at the infrastructure. They look at the number of residents here in this community. And you have to ask yourself, if I had the opportunity to open up a McDonald's here in Pahokee or here in another place, you're gonna weigh all those things. So it's not that this commission and this administration ain't working every day sending out those packages to attract business interest. We are doing that, and we're gonna continue to do that. For the last 2 years, I done went to New Orleans to kind of set a seed and plant a seed, and I delivered some of those packages, and I'm hoping at some point some of those businesses that are in New Orleans may be willing to relocate to Pahokee. Don't forget, we still have the Business Development Board working with us to attract businesses in our community. So those are gonna be two of our top priorities, to bring business in to our city and to create affordable housing. And personally, I would like to see Pahokee have a gated community for our teachers and our young professionals who want to move here, in addition to other housing. That's my goal, and that's my desire to have. So we're going to continue to work towards that. And at this time, I will adjourn the workshop.
Can I say one thing?
Yes.
I don't know if that's come up here or not, anyway. This is just a point of information. I called Chandler about this the other day. Coming up on the November election, there's gonna be a real important question that's gonna affect the city of Pahokee drastically. If we don't vote it down, I'm sure everybody else is gonna vote it in. But you know, they're wanting to increase your homestead exemption from 50,000 to 75,000. And when they do that in the city of Pahokee, you're gonna lose another tremendous amount of homes off of your tax rolls, no ad valorem taxes or anything else. I understand that Commissioner McKinley is proposing to do a half-cent sales tax to kind of offset that expense. And my call to Chandler was given, I didn't understand where that half-cent sales tax was going to come from and how it was going to apply back to the cities. So we need to find out what's are going to be our kickback off of that half-cent, how it's going to be distributed amongst the county, so we can make an educated decision come the November election. I don't think we're going to counteract what the rest of Palm Beach County is going to vote. They're going to vote for the 75,000 because they want it off of their tax roll. But it affects every city in the Glades tremendously, and we really need to be prepared to have something else to do to offset those monies being taken from us.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I will adjourn the workshop, and we will reconvene in 2 minutes. Thank you.
So how's everything going?
that role. So I'll probably see him next week.
Okay.
Okay. Did he find them?
Make for some long days.
I'm sure it is.
But it's good, you know.
So like how many hours you work in a day?
Normally I work 10 hours.
How are you, sir?
The unit,
Good.
and I'm in the community.
So to be on record.
Okay.
So normally I fluctuate hours, whatever. Like last summer when I was breaking down. So I was on vacation, working work nights, because that's what I'm working.
Yeah.
So it just depends. Now that we got internal.
Yeah, that's a roller coaster.
I don't think we're making buttons.
I don't think we make buttons here.
Maybe we can do it. Not make them, I'm saying for this.
That'd be a new,
We'll order.
I said, we need to do that. Okay, are we ready, city attorney?
yes.
Are we ready, city manager?
Yes, sir.
Ready, Commissioner Hill?
Yes.
Commissioner Walker?
Yes.
Commissioner Mervin? City clerk, are we ready?
City clerk.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. I call this City Commission of the City of Pahokee regular commission meeting of Tuesday, February the 27, 2018, order at 6:37. May we please stand for the invocation led by Reverend Spry, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Most gracious and eternal Father and our God, it's once more and again that a few of your peoples have come together that have a concern for the city where they live. Father, we pray that you touch our hearts, our minds, and our souls. Help us to know what's right, to do what's right, to speak what's right. Father, we pray that you bless this meeting tonight in a mighty way. Bless these, our leaders that sat on this diocese, Lord God. Bless each and every one of them, one by one and name by name. Give them the strength to continue to do what's right for the city of Pahokee. Father, and we'll be ever so careful to give you the glory, the praise, and the honor. In Jesus' precious name, amen.
Amen.
Our Father, to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Spray, for the invocation. Thank you, City Clerk. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, staff, and thank each of you all for being here today. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Bab,
Present.
Vice Mayor Holmes, Commissioner Hill,
Present.
Commissioner Mervin,
Present.
Commissioner Walker, City Manager,
Present.
City Attorney,
Present?
Deputy Freeman,
Present.
City Clerk, present.
Thank you, City Clerk. Thank you, Commissioner, and thank you, staff. Vice Mayor Holm called this afternoon. He's having some problems with his knee, and he won't be here this afternoon for the regular commission meeting. We'd like to recognize Lisa Wilson, Mayor McKinley, aide for the Western County, and I'm thinking other dignitaries here. And thank each of you all for being here tonight to take part in our regular commission meeting. We're going to move to the additions, deletions, and approval of agenda items. Are there any addition to the agenda?
Mayor, I have one. I think is it Catherine Marvelis? She wants to recognize the middle school robotics team. Is
Okay.
that?
Okay.
It's all of the additions.
We'll put that under,
Do
we can either do
you
on the
wanna-
presentation or new business. Let's do it on the presentation.
Yes.
We'll put it on the presentation.
Okay.
What is that?
The robotics.
Okay. Any other additions?
No, Mayor.
I think Commissioner Walker wanted to add the city clerk salary increase or discussion of that. I don't know if that's the desire of the commission at this particular meeting, but that would be her motion. If you want to discuss that, then we need to get a second and
It has been no for her.
like,
She saying she has to be the motion, required.
right, what I,
Don't do it. It's, don't.
okay. Ms. Walker just gonna,
You were saying she has to be requested.
no, she don't. I was saying that you're requesting it and the motion need to be second because it's an add-on and I'm not sure if the commission is ready to talk about the salary. If they second it, we can move forward with adding it to the meeting.
Really, because I need to know if they,
Okay.
any question.
Is it desire of the commission to discuss the salary of the city clerk tonight? Okay, hearing no second, Commissioner Walker, I think it's a desire that at some point we do want to, but I don't think that they're prepared to discuss it tonight.
That's fine. That's
Okay.
fine.
Are there any other additions to the agenda?
No, Mayor.
Any deletion, any removal from the agenda?
No, Mayor.
Hearing none, I entertain a motion to accept the agenda with the add-on of the recognition of the middle school robotic.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the agenda with an add-on with the recognition of the middle school robotics team.
I'll second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Hill and properly seconded by Commissioner Mervin for the adoption of the agenda with the one add-on as stated. Call for questions. Hearing none. Are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Commissioner Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Walker.
Yes.
Hello?
That was a
She
yes.
said yes.
Okay. Mayor Babb,
Yes. Thank you, City Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. The approval of the agenda passes 4-0. Now we're moving to the citizen comments. agenda items only. Do we have any comment card, City Manager?
Mayor, we were low on comment cards, so I have some handwritten comments.
Okay.
We have Lonnie Spratt, but I don't know if that's on the agenda. That's just general comments?
Yeah, that's general.
Okay. And then we have Menzie Miller? General? Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. We'll move right along in our agenda. Public service announcement, also must have a public service card completed. Are there any public service announcement cards completed, City Manager?
No, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. We'll move to the approval of the minutes of January 23rd, 2018, regular scheduled commission meeting. What's your,
Mayor, I
Pleasure.
motion to approve January 23rd regular scheduled commission meeting.
Second, could you just say it all?
been moved by Commissioner Mervin and properly second by Commissioner Hill for the approval of the January 23rd, 2018 regular scheduled commission meeting. Call for question. Hearing none, are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Commissioner Walker,
Yes?
Mayor Bat,
Yes. Thank you, City Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. The minutes of January 23rd, 2018 passes unanimously. Now we'll move to the approval of the minutes of February the 13th, 2018 regular scheduled commission meeting. What's your pleasure, City Commission?
I'd like to make a motion to approve of minutes for February 13th, 2018, regular scheduled commission meeting.
I'll second it.
Been moved by Commissioner Hill and properly second by Commissioner Mervin for the approval of the February 13, 2018 regular scheduled commission meeting. Call for questions. Hearing none. Are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Commissioner Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Walker,
Yes?
Mayor Bat,
Yes, thank you, City Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. The February 13, 2018 regular scheduled commission meeting has been approved by a 4-0 vote. We have no consent agenda items. We have no ordinance. We do have two resolutions. Resolution 2018-11. City Attorney.
Mr. Mayor, this is a resolution of the City of Pahokee demanding that the owners of certain properties described herein remove debris, destroyed or decaying building structures, ruins of any kind, building docks or other structures that is identified herein, as some are hereby declared to be dangerous or who have conditions injurious to the public health and safety of the City of Pahokee, giving the property owner notice, a deadline to demolish or remove the hazard, and if not removed, authorizing the city to demolish or remedy the hazardous condition, and thereafter impose an assessment against the property which shall be in the form of a lien against the property for the full cost to the city for the remedying the hazardous and dangerous condition in accordance with the City of Pahokee Code Section 20-2I.
Thank you, City Attorney. City Commissioners, having had Resolution 2018-11 properly read into the minutes, what's your pleasure?
I'd like to make a motion to accept resolution 2018-11.
I'll second.
Can we discuss this?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Once
On
we
the question
discuss.
we'll discuss. Thank
Table.
you. It has been moved by Commissioner Hill and properly second by Commissioner Mervin for the adoption of Resolution 2018-11. Call for question. Commissioner Walker.
What is, are these building owners, question owners?
The owners are notified. They're given the opportunity to go in front of the special magistrate if they desire to do so.
Okay,
And a lot of these owners actually consent to the demolition of the building.
okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Walker. Are there any additional questions? Hearing none, are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Commissioner Mervin,
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Walker,
Oh, yes.
Mayor Bab,
Yes. Thank you, City Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Resolution 2018-11 passes by a unanimous 4-0 vote. Now we have Resolution 2018-12. City Attorney.
Mr. Mayor, this is a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, authorizing and directing the mayor to execute the state-funded grant agreement between the State of Florida Department of Transportation and the City of Pahokee.
City Manager, could you briefly explain that resolution?
Mayor, this is the FDOT project for Barfield Highway. As you can recall, we are accepting money for under the SCOP program, and some of the roads in Pahokee need complete reconstruction, meaning they're not going to resurface, they're going to actually reconstruct the road. And we made a decision that Barfield Highway certainly meets this qualification, and as well as McClure. But right now, we're going to move forward with Barfield Highway. It's a major thoroughfare from the south to the north end of the city. And so these funds are just saying we're in agreement with what FDOT's going to be doing moving forward with planning, engineering, and the plans to begin the initial reconstruction of this highway.
Okay. Thank you, City Attorney. Thank you, City Manager. City Commission, having had Resolution 2018-12 properly read into the minutes, what's your pleasure?
Mayor, I motion to approve Resolution 2018-12.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Mervin and properly seconded by Commissioner Hill for the adoption of Resolution 2018-12. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Commissioner Walker,
Yes.
Mayor Bab,
Yes. Thank you, City Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Resolution 2018-12 passes by a unanimous 4-0 vote. We don't have any public hearings. We don't have any proclamations. We do have one presentation added to the agenda, the recognition of the middle school robotics
Robotics team. Robotics team.
team.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for hearing me. Last night I was invited to sit at the SAC meeting at the middle school, involving the middle school and the high school, and I was so impressed to hear a presentation from the middle school about the two prestigious awards that their first year robotics team were awarded, and that they will be continuing on to compete in, I think it's Gainesville or Tallahassee, and also another robotics competition in Arkansas. I'm sorry?
St. Augustine.
St. Augustine, thank you. I have nephews who have gone to MIT and RIT, and I understand who have all been in robotics competitions. This is huge. Mm-hmm. This is huge. And I think it's absolutely amazing, and I think that this school needs to be recognized for this. I also got to meet one of the young men, and I'm sorry I don't have his name, but he's a little 12-year-old coding genius. And I just think it's amazing, you know, and Pahokee needs to recognize, and actually the rest of the state. Actually, what I heard was that they were like, Polk County, you're from Polk County? And he was saying, no, we're from Pahokee. And they were like, just like blown away that some little town that the other robotics world had never heard of came up with such incredible presentations. So I would like to ask, I don't know if the city can recognize them or send a letter or do something to recognize the team, because this is big.
We can check our records. I believe we already have. This could be a
Nobody
separate
tells me anything.
competition, but we had the actual principal and some of the students here and recognized them in front of the
Fantastic.
commission. But if that's not the case, and this is an additional
Addition.
competition, we'll certainly will invite them back, give them some certificates, and recognize them publicly.
And not only that, but I would also like to invite everybody out there. I am going to contact everybody that I know on social media, asking them in Boston, at MIT and RIT, to come down and support these kids, because these kids are the MacGyvers of robotics. They don't have the funding, they don't have the prestige, the marketing aspect that a lot of the other robotics teams have, which makes it even much more astounding. So I would like everybody to socialize, network, and try to, talk to your people and get some funding and get some recognition for these kids, even going further if you can.
Thank you.
All right?
Appreciate that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So, City Clerk, if you would, just check through our minutes and make sure we have already recognized the robotic team. If not, we certainly want to invite them to a commission meeting to do so.
We recognized them at a meeting previously and also on the website.
Okay.
Mayor, if I could say, but I got a call from Mr. Denard. This is additional awards that they won just the other week.
Okay.
And they also got the robotics coach of the year. So it's an additional reward for the national, and they're heading to the national championship in Arkansas, and then the state finals in St. Augustine.
And when is that?
He didn't give me the date, but I
Okay.
did tell him that if it's so, that probably have him and probably the robotics teams to come to the next commission meeting.
Okay. So I would entertain a motion just for the records to put forth that this commission recognize that team for an outstanding accomplishment. I don't know if we want to wait till the national or the state or do it now, but we can check the dates. But at some point, we certainly want to publicly recognize them again. So I entertain a motion to that effect.
So you want the motion to,
That the commission would recognize the robotic team.
or I move to make a motion that the City of Pahokee Commission recognize the robotic teams at the Pahokee Middle School.
I second that.
It's been moved by Commissioner Mervin and properly seconded by Commissioner Hill to recognize the Pahokee Middle School robotic team in the future here at the commission. Call for question. Hearing none. Are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Commissioner Walker,
Yes. Yes.
Mayor Bat,
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. The motion passes unanimously, 4-0. And we're moving to the mayor's report. This should be very brief. I spoke with a representative of Kaiser University. They're starting a football program up, and they are very interested in Pahokee High School athletes. They gave me some contact information of the coach. I spoke with an alumni that went to that school, and he also spoke with the assistant chandler of the school. So what we're going to be doing is sitting down with Coach Walks and the principal, just sharing that information. This is a great opportunity for our high school athletes who maybe don't sign with a Division I college or don't get an offer. This is a feeding program. It's a good opportunity to get a college education and to continue their football activity on a college level. So I thought that was great, and I certainly will be passing on this information to the school. Also, Vice Mayor Holmes was to select our 2 businesses of the month. I think we're a little behind on that, and since he has some health problems right now, we're just gonna move that responsibility to our next commissioner, who would be Commissioner Walker. So hopefully at the next city you won't be able to do.
No, I
Okay.
would not.
Okay.
Thank you, I'm sorry.
So I'll select the next 2 businesses of the month for this month at our next commission meeting. And as you are aware, we won't be having a commission meeting on the 13th because of our election, city election. And that's conclude my city report. We're moving to the city manager report. City Manager Chandler.
Thank you, Mayor, Commission, residents of Pahokee. Thanks for coming out tonight. Just briefly, I wanted to review where we were with the old hospital. We are engaging the potential buyer of this particular facility. There are some additional documents that the city attorney and I are waiting on before we present the complete sale to the commission or for your agreement, and we'll most likely have all that concluded between now and through the election. So we don't have a March 13th commission meeting. We should have this concluded at that last meeting in March, hopefully. The old water plant, as I mentioned earlier, they're removing all of the chemicals on site before they actually start doing demolition. There is some a healthy amount of just water that they have to remove from certain areas near the water plant. So we got to allow them to get that done first towards to EPA standards before they actually begin demolition. So slowly but surely that building will be coming down here shortly. The old Pahokee High School, we're getting some additional building inspections on this particular entity. I think the foundation's okay, the building inspector mentioned, but he wanted to make sure that there's some, it's been sitting there for a while since the last inspection, so they wanted to make sure that it's still intact. Even though we're going to be doing a lot of external improvements, painting, replacing the windows, landscaping, they still want to get inside and do some additional inspections on this particular entity, our structure. Lastly, I want to do the employee of the quarter, if that's appropriate right now, Mayor.
Yes.
If there's no additional questions about those 3 updates.
Okay.
The employee of the quarter, we missed the second quarter. This is the 3rd quarter. We missed recognizing the 2nd quarter, but we're going to do both tonight. And the 2nd quarter employee, the employee of the 2nd quarter is Mr. Paul Buxton. Mr. Buxton works in the Public Works Department. He's been there over 9 years. He's actually a supervisor in that department, and he's been a very dedicated worker to the Public Works Department. One thing I can say about Mr. Buxton is sometimes they don't have a staff that's 25 strong. They only have about, I think, 12 guys on that staff, and sometimes when someone's out, he takes up their job for that day, meaning he's on the lawnmowers, meaning he's on the trucks doing their actual job. And in addition to that, you typically find him at all of our weekend events here in the city of Pahokee. And so he never says no. He's always there helping the city out in any way he can. He's a supervisor. Mr. Johnson, his director, has been here close to 29 years. We don't know who the next director is going to be in Public Works, but Mr. Buxton certainly is in the training mode for that position, and we've had discussions about improving some of his certifications, getting him some more additional management classes, just in preparation. And he knows, and I tell this to directors, that if I'm not preparing them for success, for leadership, then I'm failing as a city manager and as someone who should be preparing them. And so, again, he goes about his business. He's quiet. When he wants to talk to you, he will. But most of the time, he goes about doing his work in this city in a very conspicuous way. But At the same time, you know, we have to recognize employees like this because they have a difficult job. They don't have the opportunity to sit in an air-conditioned office 8 hours a day. They have to work on the street, and they have to work in conditions that are not always conducive to their health as well. It's getting hot again, and it's going to be a major challenge again for our public works crew. So, but today, this evening, we want to take this opportunity to honor Mr. Buxton as our second quarter employee of the second quarter. And what goes along with that, I don't know if you want to go down.
Yeah, we're gonna go down.
What goes along
the
with that
commission.
is, come on, Paul. What goes along with that is a check for $100, and all employees of the quarter receive this check. And
Thank you.
so, and then of course the employee of the year, I think it's $500, and we recognize that along with the chamber awards in May. So Paul will be in that consideration in that group of 4 employees of the quarter to be employee of the year.
Okay, Paul, on behalf of the City Commission, Vice Mayor Nathaniel Home, Commissioner Clara Mervin, Commissioner Diane Walker, Commissioner Felicia Hill, and myself as the Mayor of the City of Pahokee, it is indeed an honor and pleasure to present you with this check and your recognition for being the quarter employee of the quarter. Thank you for your outstanding work, your work habits, your work ethics, and we appreciate all that you have done for this city. Congratulations on the job. Well done. Paul, as always, we do give you an opportunity to say a few words if you like. Thank you. You're welcome.
All right, and now to our employee of the third quarter. As I said, we had 2. We missed December's, but this is employee of the third quarter. Employee of the third quarter is Angelica Reyes. She's not here tonight. Angelica Reyes has been with the City of Pahokee in the finance department about 5 years, and when I came to the City of Pahokee, you know, we had some turnover, and Angelica Reyes with 2 others, several others were remaining in that department, well, in the city. But she's always been in the City of Pahokee's financial department, and she's also, for the last 2.5 years, has been going to school full time at FAU. So she works and then goes to school, and she will be getting her degree in finance. She will finish that in June of this year. And I don't know if we'll retain her because that position in that profession, it pays well. She has options after June to remain here or go on to another municipality or go back into the to the private sector. But Ms. Reyes at one point was in all respect the finance director for a moment when we came on board, and our last director, Ms. Bruton, you know, decided to move on. She served in that capacity for quite some time on a limited, you know, in a limited directive, because we have others working in the department as well. But she was really leading that department for almost a year, and no one really realized that. But she is a very dedicated worker to the finance department, very intelligent. And again, she finishes up her college degree in finance at FAU in June. And she's also applied to the Florida City County Manager Association's scholarship award as well. and it's an association that I'm a part of, but I nominated her to apply for that academic scholarship as well. And so we'll hear back between now and May, because that's when that conference is in Orlando. And if she's selected, she'll go along with me to that conference to be recognized and receive that scholarship. We have another young lady in that department that's also not in that department, that's in City Hall, that are finishing up their undergraduate degrees. But again, Ms. Reyes has been with the city for about 5 years, very dedicated worker, very bright, and we look forward to seeing her, blossom into maybe, a finance director somewhere, either in this city or someplace else. But again, she is the third quarter is the employee of the third quarter. She's not here tonight. She's working. She has another job that she works at part-time as well, as versus is going to school, and she couldn't make it. So we'll make sure she receives this check. And again, she will be a part of the review for Employee of the Year at the end of April. Thank you.
That's it, City Manager?
Yes, that's it.
Thank you, City Manager, for that report, and especially thank you for the recognition of staff, the 2 quarterly Employee of the Quarter. Also, speaking of recognition, can you give us an update on the Mayor's Gold Hammer Award that's presented quarterly, where we are on that, and also the Yard of the Month? That's a recognition we give to our residents on a regular basis.
I just received from Code Enforcement the recommendation for Lawn of the Month. That's a lower tier award. And as you know, we had a beautification committee established. And that committee, for whatever reason, couldn't come to a agreement on when they could meet to make selections on the Mayor's Gold Hammer and Nail Award. So, after a few months, I decided, well, Code Enforcement's out there every day. And we need to ensure that that award is being expended quarterly. And so I turned that responsibility back over to the Code Enforcement, because they see residents and businesses every day. And so we do have a Lawn of the Month. We will announce that at the next commission meeting. And then we're at the quarterly, it'll also be a quarterly as well for the Mayor's Gold Hammer and Nail Award, because the last one I think was in December, but we didn't have the sign ready yet. So it's been 3 months, and we sort of know who that's going to be now, because again, the Mayor's Gold Hammer and Nail Award is for the resident that not only takes care of their lawn, but does major structural changes for improvement to their home. And we want to recognize that individual that is contributing back to their community by ensuring that their home is, one up to code, is inviting, is making those structural changes that changes the community for a positive. And so we want to recognize that individual. And we do it every 3 months. We haven't been consistent because, again, we could not get the committee to meet consistently. So I turned it back over to our Code Enforcement. But again, at the next commission meeting, we will announce Lawn of the Month and the Mayor's Gold Hammer and Nail Award.
In addition to that, we would like to take a picture on a regular basis with the awardee, so we can put it on our Facebook page and kind of highlight some of the things that our residents are doing to improve the city of Pahokee. So thank you, City Manager, for that. Now we'll move to the City Attorney report.
I don't have any, sir.
Thank you, City Attorney. On old business, we don't have anything. New business, we have the Palm Beach County Sheriff Office report, if you have anything, sir.
Nothing, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now we move to our citizen comments and general concerns. City Manager, do we have any citizen comments cards?
Yes, sir. Reverend Lonnie Spry.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Commissioners, members of the community. I'm here for 2 reasons. One of the reasons I want to state that in, whatever you do that? What's the area they call it? East Lake Village. I just moved out there. And I'm kind of disappointed in We have a lot of overgrown lots and houses out there that really need to be addressed. It looked terrible when you come in there. Even in my backyard, the lot behind me is terrible. The lot on the side of me, Miss Mary keeps her yard. Now, she should be awarded a reward. But the yard behind her makes her yard look bad because it's overgrown almost over the house. So I'm asking y'all if y'all could do something about that, get it taken, because it make my neighborhood look bad, that East Lake Village. And the second thing I want to address the mayor and the city attorney. I need you all to speak to Commissioner Holmes, because Commissioner Holmes is out of control. And if he do what he did to me again, I will not only file a lawsuit against him, I will file a lawsuit against the city of Pahokee. This man is out of control, sending police to my house, threatening to cause my wife to lose her job. We ain't voting for him because he's ignorant. But that's no reason for you to be attacking me and my family, because we choose not to work for you anymore. We choose not to be a member of your church. So I need y'all to speak to him because he's way out of control. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Are there any additional comments, cards, city manager?
Miller? Ms. Miller?
It's 521 Pahokee Circle. My concern is that at Amarillo Avenue, behind the fire station, that place turned into a wilderness. So I wonder who that place really belongs to.
By the fire station, I believe that property over there maybe is overgrown.
Bush in there that high, and Maiden came and...
The old fire station, the new fire station, the property next to it, that vacant,
That's private, yeah.
property.
Yeah.
He's asking
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
we address that.
See, years ago I used to see city manager riding, I don't see this one riding nowhere to see anything. Because like that, you can't miss it. That's what I have to say.
Thank you, citizen, for both of those comments. We'll certainly follow up on those items and try to address that as soon as possible.
Next, we have Ms. Sarah Perez.
Good evening, everyone.
Good
My
evening.
name is Sarah Perez. I live at 246 East Main Street, Pahokee, Florida. I'm here to address a statement that the mayor made earlier as far as Ms. Felicia Hill not being, let's see the words that you use, unopposed. That is incorrect, sir. This matter is not over. It's in court and it has not been resolved. Just want to say, for those of you that don't know, that's called voter suppression. Okay, that's what you're doing. Thank you, that's what I wanted to address.
Thank you, ma'am. Are there any additional cards, comment cards?
Yes, Mayor. We have Tamika Powell.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
All right, so I am Tamika Powell, and I'm here in representation of 821 Palm Boulevard. It is where my roots are grounded here in Pahokee, Florida. At this time, I no longer live here, and I haven't for 10 years. Been coming back visiting. And for the last 3 months I've been coming back visiting, I would like to also be able to share what I'm willing to come back to and contribute to Pahokee. I see that there's not many people here that represent my age group, but I am very much in contact with a lot of people in the community. So with that, I would just like to be able to share some things that I would like to encourage with the community. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
2 minutes.
Yes.
Or less. Got it. All right, so for the last few months, like I said, I've been working my way back, and I have witnessed a lot of things that have changed and a lot of things that have not changed. One of the biggest change I have seen is the cleanliness of the grounds, which I think is a great sign for a clean slate to begin here, which is a good sign for a lot of change to happen. And for people of my age range who are discouraged and are disempowered, I would like to say that that is no more. And I'm here to be able to encourage more community economics myself, and for people who are also supporting me, to beautify Pahokee more, to increase the same beauty that we beautify ourselves with, to increase awareness of entrepreneurship, holding classes and workshops about development and personal growth, asking also the business owners who are here, which are very limited, to have an open and option for volunteering, to be able to encourage more skill set in the community. Also asking for certain places of lotting for community gardening, to be able to teach our young folks sustainability through food production. Also, dance classes to incorporate and to increase more movement in the body for health and fitness. This is also for our elders and our seniors and our youth. So yoga awareness, parenting and leadership classes, and things of that nature. So I would like to just say, as a representing force of 30 to 45, 25, I'm Tamika Powell, and I will be back to share. And I'd like to see you all soon and your support as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Powell, for those comments. And I would like to add to City Manager, a few of our residents have asked for the city to restart or organize a softball league for middle-aged adults who still feel they have the game to play. So that's something we can ask our Director of Recreation to kind of look at, and hopefully we can get that going. I know the county has a nice ballpark that's not being fully utilized. And actually got 2 fields out there. So let's look and see if we can make that happen. And again, Ms. Powell, thank you for those comments and suggestions, and we're certainly happy that you're visiting and back in our city to help move our city forward. Thank you. Are there any additional comments, cards, City Manager?
Yes, Mayor. Joanne Culberson.
Joanne Culberson, 1621 East Main Street. I just want to know if, I think it's 1565 next to me, the property I have been messing with for 10 years trying to get that piece of property cleaned up. So how do I find out what property's on the list? There is, during the hurricane, half of the building in the back blew off, all the tin, and I had to get somebody to move it. But I just don't understand why it just keeps doing this. The other thing I want to ask about is, like by Save-A-Lot or in that area, you go by there and there might be 5 buggies turned up on their side and people sit on them waiting on the bus. Why can't in that area across from Dollar General or somewhere, benches be put where it says bus stop instead of buggies turned upside down all the time? That's all. Other than, wait, my flowers are starting to bloom, so I don't want nobody up there cutting them down.
That's one of those questions. The county's actually
Can I find out if that property is on the list?
It's not on this current list under this ordinance, but it's certainly on the list for consideration.
There's a bridge behind that place that a tree has grown out and the bridge is stopped and the water from going on down because it's in the canal.
It's not on this list, but it's on the code enforcement's list to address when we have this opportunity again to bring addresses on this ordinance, under this ordinance, to the commission for approval. Yes. So it's going to be addressed. Okay. In addition to that, I wanted to answer a question about the bus stop. The county is planning to install a bus stop between the Save-A-Lot and where the Family Dollars on Main Street.
If there was just a bench, we can put the benches on the dike or things. If there's a bench there, they wouldn't tote all the buggies and turn them upside down. And thank you for getting that mattress moved over by my mother.
You're welcome. You're welcome. That's it, Mayor.
Again, thank you for all the comments, and staff will certainly follow up on those and do whatever improvement we can. One of the things I would like to see done, and I think the city manager have indicated, restarting our monthly or quarterly community meetings so we can talk about code enforcement, have the code enforcement officers there, and just keep you totally informed of what's going on and how you can assist in helping keep the city clean. I'm glad Ms. Power did mention the fact that one of the things she noticed, our community is a little cleaner than what it used to be when she was originally here. We're going to have to continue to work toward doing better on that and making sure that we all can be proud of our community. Having no additional comments from citizens, we're going to now move into the correspondence, comments, concerns of the city commissioners. And we'll start with Commissioner Hill.
Well, no, just want to thank everyone for coming out. With the robotics team, Mr. Denard, we've given, I think we've awarded them, I mean, we've rewarded them prior, I think one or two, once. And we did get the information in reference to them going to, I think it was Arkansas. So, yes, so, yeah. So the city is working on that. I mean, and I really, and it was very, very challenging. And for them to win that, it's a very good reflection for the city. Yes, yes, I agree. Yes. March 24th, from 10 to 2, and I've actually invited them and asked them if they wouldn't mind setting up a table so that they could promote that to other kids in the neighborhood who might not be at middle school yet. Right. You know, the elementary school students, and kind of get them an interest in there because it is a phenomenal field. Okay, well, thank you. We appreciate that. But that was basically it, and you guys, thank you for coming out.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill. Commissioner Walker.
I want ask you to not, you got the, okay, you, at the meeting last week, you said, that the meeting, help me, you said for a meeting, the meeting to have the, I got it, that's all right, I got it, let's go, I got it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you all thank you all for being here tonight.
Thank you, Commissioner Walker. Commissioner Mervin.
Mayor, I just have a job opportunity that they told me to announce. D&G Security from Lake Worth will be here on Saturday at 9:30, and they're going to be at the Bright Idea Daycare on 331 East Main Street. They're a security company that's looking for men and women 18 years or older, actually to work with Michael Joseph with his security team. And he gave his contact number for Mr. Joseph is 561-261-6053. Again, that's going to be this Saturday on March 3rd at 9:30 at 331 East Main Street. So, you know, the men and women that's looking for to get their security license. Do they have to pay? There is a fee. I don't have the fee. But we could get the fee. We get that. And so they are looking. They will be here on Saturday at 9:30. That's it.
Thank you, Commissioner. This meeting is now adjourned. Thank you for coming.